Hello everyone, welcome back. It is me. I have got a new project to do. I'm actually holding my phone whilst I'm trying to record this because this is so large it doesn't fit on my table or in my holder. So I apologise, it's going to go a little bit blurry and a bit shaky, but I will try to keep in focus. So I've just boarded this one up. This is what it looks like. And yeah, do you know what? I just fell in love with this one. Most of my paintings I get because I'm like, oh, so-and-so would love that. I'll make that for somebody or whatever. I don't know what, I fell in love with this one. And I know it's going to be crappy paints and it's probably going to be a bit of a ball ache. But I just fell in love with it and thought, you know what, that's what I'm going to go with. So I have ironed the back of this one. I got this from Amazon. One thing I have noticed though is the Amazon ones do seem to come better packaged than the other one. So this was rolled and it had a polystyrene basically cylinder, if you like, that it was rolled around, so it didn't have any harsh creases, whatever in it. Now I have still ironed it. Okay, you will always get a few little wrinkles, but that's fine. You don't want the harsh lines because a lot of them, they fold them and you end up with these really harsh creases in them. And if you don't get them out before you start, you are scuppered, because even though you stretch these to frame them, it won't get the creases will not stretch out. You've got to get them out before. Make sure you iron it on the back, not on the front, because obviously this is shiny. Oh look, there's my lovely slippers for you. I've got my Grinches on today. I'm always wearing my Grinch slippers. They're awesome. But yeah, so the other, and I know you're like, why are you recording this like this, Shannon? Well, because I'm going to gesso this canvas. So from Amazon again, this is what I use, clear gesso, and I literally just put it in a tub with, I'm going to have to swap hands, here we go, giant paintbrush, and I'm literally just going to go all over it and make sure it's fully covered. What I liked about this though is, if I come in closer here, can you see that the numbers are actually red? They're not black. And the lines are faint and thin lines compared to a lot of the canvases. Oh, I should have got another canvas out to show you, but if you've watched my videos before, you know what I mean. You know, they are generally really dark, quite thick lines, and they're an absolute nightmare to try and cover over them. Oh, sorry, it keeps going out of shot. This one isn't, so I hold some hope for this. I also know with this, because you see it's kind of, when you look at it here, right, it kind of looks a little bit blendy. But when you bring it up close, can you see it's quite harsh lines along there? See? We don't want harsh lines. I want them all to blend in. So I'm going to do those bits first. And I'm going to use the blending technique I used on the flower picture, which was the roses in the vase. If you've looked at that one, you'll see I did that technique. So that's what I plan to do with this one, because I think it will give it a much nicer finish than it does there. Now this bit down here where it is different bits, you want that because you want that definition, and that's fine, but I want this more kind of cloudy, swirly. Does that make sense? Right, I'm going to gesso this canvas up, which I can't do whilst I'm holding a phone at the same time. Well, I possibly could, but I'm liable for this to go very wrong. And I just basically just use a tub and I just pour that in and paint away. And that's what I'm going to do. I have found that, yes, doing the gesso on these canvases before you start makes a huge difference to the application, and it's totally worth it. I leave them to dry for 24 hours before I then put any paint on them, which is why I'm doing that now. And then I'm going to come back in a few seconds and I'm going to show you the paints, and I'm going to show you how, because I doubt very much that these paints are going to be the right consistency, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to those to make them the right consistency as well. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's get this ready. The only thing I have noticed is it doesn't come with a sheet. like the paper sheet. So if you put the wrong number on, you're not going to know you've put the wrong number on. So you might want to take a picture of it before you start painting. As in, take a picture of the board so you can see the numbers on it. So we're going to get these paints ready. I have got straight flow aid. It has a little pipette. I have a stirring stick. And most importantly, I've got some kitchen towel. Because it's going to get messy. Right. So in the kits, there's our lovely sheet. You get some brushes, which are normally absolute crap. So yeah, get some. I got mine from Amazon. That's where I got mine from. And then you get your paints. There isn't any duplicate numbers. So that's quite a big area for not a lot of paint going on in those. And that's again where the flow aid comes in, because it extends the paint, if that makes any sense. And I can't find any scissors, so I'm just gonna have to use these ones. That. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single paint because people are probably not that bothered. And I don't have a little thing to swatch them either. I'm just going to have a look at what the consistency is like. It smells fine. I know that seems weird, but I have had one where, and I'm, you know, if you've watched these, you will have seen the video, but where the minute I opened it, the smell of the paint was so overwhelming. And I work with acrylics, for goodness sake. You know, if I'm going, oh my God, you know, that's really, really bad. But no, these ones smell fine. So you always get a thick amount. It's always thicker in the lid. Now, actually, that, look at, wow. That is beautiful. That is a lovely consistency to that paint. Ah, feel a little bit redundant now. I'm still going to put a little bit of flow aid in it just to give me a bit longer. I'm nearly at the bottom of this, so I've just got to stick my pipette in. So let me see if I can show you what I mean by extend the life of it. Let me just clean that off. I need a piece of paper. I need a pad. Let's have a look. Typically, I do not want to have one handy. Here we go. Ooh. There's going to be an avalanche anyway then. See, told you. Right, let me get my art book. So this is just some art paper. I'm going to clean my brush. Okay, and I'm just going to take a little bit on there. Great. Bristles are already coming out. Oh, it doesn't matter for this purpose. Okay. So what we're doing is we're just going to pull that across the page and see how far we can get. Okay. There we go. I'm going to clean my brush again. And now I'm going to add some flow aid. I'm just going to add a few drops. Put 4 drops in there. And I'm going to stir it up. I want to give it a really, really good stir. Hopefully. Because I know when I've shown this in other videos, my hand or something tends to be in the way. Because what Flow Aid does is it doesn't water down the paint, so it doesn't lose its opacity. I think that's a nice consistency. Very, very nice. It basically just makes the paint work better. I will put the links in the description of obviously this kit, but also my Flow Aid and my gesso. And again, let's just take some and see how far we've got now. There you go. So with just a, oh, the light's doing that stupid thing again. Sorry. There we go. Oh, I hate it when it does it. It's because it's too white basically underneath and it just doesn't like it. So I'll try and keep my hand there for you. So just add in 4 drops in. I've got that much further in the paint. So I will probably add just a couple more drops just because the consistency, but you can see how much easier it's spread across the page. It makes it, you know, Flow Aid. It makes it flow better. This game with gessoing the canvas, you don't have to gesso your canvas. You can just paint directly onto the canvas. You don't have to Flow Aid the paints. These paints are good. You know, we've seen some of my kits which they have been horrific. So you don't have to do it. You know, you could just use the paint as it is. But I know from experience that I will have a much happier time painting if I have gessoed my canvas, because it adds some grit onto the canvas basically that just helps the paint stick and stay where you want it to be, and it just improves the look of it as well. And I know adding Flow Aid to the paint will make the paint flow better, so I'm not fighting the paint. It will just glide across the canvas, giving me less streaks. You know, it doesn't fight me to work with it. So that's why I do it. And like I say, I mean, that's a really, really nice consistency. But I know I can just take that just a little bit further, just a couple more drops. There we go, and just stir that in. It just means that I've got less chance of having to need more paint. But you see, just by adding Flow Aid, it hasn't changed the opacity of it. Look at it. It's exactly the same. This, however, I think this is watercolour paper as well. So not the most ideal thing to be using for this, you know, because these are acrylic paints. But hey ho, it proved my point, which is all that matters. So I am going to get the rest of these paints ready for when I'm going to start painting. And I might actually do some painting. And make sure you put your lids back on properly. Always very important. Don't know, I might actually paint with you. You know, just do little snippets where you basically watch me paint. The problem I found with the time lapse is you don't actually see what I'm doing. You see the painting evolve and stuff, but you don't see any of the technique. You know, my hand is generally covering different parts. You don't actually get to see what's going on. And, you know, what people like when I do my videos, especially, you know, for nails and stuff, is I show you the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the quirky, the experimental. I show you everything. And that's very much, I think, with the painting, because like I said, I've struggled with these paint by numbers. I love doing them, but they've been an absolute ball ache. So I'm showing you that I gesso my canvas. I use Flow Aid because it it's stuff that has really worked. It was recommended by somebody else who knows what they're doing, and it's worked for them. And I tested it out, and I think it's awesome. And that's why I do it. So yeah, I think I might do a little bit of painting as well. And then obviously I want to do the blending with you guys as well, so you can see how we're going to blend that together. This is my plan. But we know life happens, so we'll see where we go from there. But there you go. That's what I'm going to do to prep all this, and let's see how it goes. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.